Well, hello. Welcome to another episode of You Can't Stop Step Up. Today we have a very interesting topic, the power of choices. The power of choices. That is the topic that we're going to be talking about today. I'm excited because I know that, the guests that I'm going to have today have made a lot of choices in their lives that they're going to talk about today. But before I bring in the guests, I'm going to do a little switch up real quick. I'm going to have this show, I'm going to open up the show with Steve O's music. So with no further ado, I am going to bring Steve O on air so that he can give us his lovely rendition. Let's go.
Hi guys, I'll be performing about 3, 4 songs for you guys today. The first one's called Legacy. I'm just living my life, trying to make a couple wrongs right, paying the sacrifice. Still, I got my eyes on the prize. You know I'm good. If it's money convos that we're having, I'm in the mood. Done with daydreaming, time to get the shit on. Love doing anything for the family. Juggling the law and the music. The fire was 20, the time it and plenty. Trying to be bigger than big. The 5, the 30. Got love for my homie. But I hope you don't do me Judas and just switch up for money. You know the world I was living crazy. I ain't gonna let them die, you gonna fuck with me now. Take no days off till a couple bust down and put everything on the line. 2015, man was doing a promotion, a couple of artists to sign. We didn't know better ahead of a time, wasn't feeling it. Told them my codis, I'm ditching it. Stick to the script, I'll bring back the bars, only one life, I guess I'm living it. To the fullest, 100% always. That's the realest. Ain't got no time for no fakes. So you know it don't break bread or realistic, you know it don't. Trying to carry my cross. I don't been through the worst, I miss all the people I lost. Trials and tribulation, but salvation a must. None of us lost. Hey, I'm just living my life, trying to make a couple wrongs right. Pain and sacrifice, still I got my eyes on the prize. You know I'm good. If it's money converts that we're having, I'm in the mood. Done with daydreaming, time to get done anything for the family. Juggling the law and the music before I was 20, the time that I'm plenty. Trying to be bigger than big before I be. Got love for my homie. But I hope you don't do me Judas and just switch up for money. You know the world I will live in crazy.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
The second song is called Decisions. It's also about choices.
Yeah.
It has to do with the subject matter. Yeah. I don't wanna rock to your boat. I don't wanna sing you a no. Yeah. I don't wanna sail on your coast. I don't wanna be there the most. I don't wanna rock to your boat. I don't wanna sing you a no. Yeah. I don't wanna sail on your coast. I don't wanna hey, uh you see my story so ironic, my lifestyle iconic. Goosebumps all over my body, shit like fine wine. Wish I could have a sip in my next life, so I could probably make a couple things alright. But it's a cold time anyways. Cold love blowing all around in my face. My favorite girl got me thinking she the one. Text back, say she got another shorty on the run. Never looking back like a timepiece. I like my girl slim, apple bottom. But I ain't trying to re up the past. It's a cold world where good things never last. Looking at the sky, trying to get my motivation. Soon we talking graduation. Cold flips. Look, wish I could right on my wrongs. You don't ask twice, and you're gonna miss out on that big price. With these few lines, maybe we could be the best out of her a few times. But life, I said that hit it when she acting cold, feel like real ice. I wanna rock to you both.
All right. Thank you
Uh,
so much. Thank
and
you.
this um, am I done or just small talking with the small talk? Why you watch a chat and we should
Oh,
talk
that's
in
actually
team?
my
But
favorite.
why you what we say for like we say pig for only talking about the bricks? You know that's the plug talk.
Yeah,
Small talking. Oh, so why you watch a chat?
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you for having me.
of course.
Thank you for having me. And I wish you guys a very meaningful conversation. I know you guys are gonna kill it. And yeah, keep doing your thing. Wish you all the best. Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you. Thank you
All right.
so much. All right, guys. Well, I just wanted us to have that, a little icebreaker before we start this powerful conversation. But with no further delay, I'm going to bring in all my wonderful guests. My first guest today is Melissa. Woohoo! Hey, girl. How
Hey,
are you?
how are you?
I'm good. How did you, how is everything going with you? Good?
I'm good. It's like super late where I am right
I
now, but I
know.
did this for you. Yes, I came here to talk for you, and like I'm just honored and so happy that you could have me here.
Of course, thank you. Thank you for staying up to be a part of this. I appreciate it. I do. Okay,
You're
my
welcome.
next guest is Carolyn Larsen-Wieber. I don't know if I pronounced that right. I don't know if I pronounced that right. I'm sorry. Forgive me if I did not.
No worries. It's Weber. It's German.
Oh,
So,
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here and thank you for being a part of this discussion today.
I'm glad to be here. I love talking about choices, and I know we've all made some big ones, and your guests can, learn from us.
Right, right, right. Beautiful, beautiful. And I have one more guest, and today I want to bring on Nelson Belt Beltijar. I don't know if I pronounced that right too. Did I do a good job?
Hey, Noma, Nelson Beltijar. That's me.
Beltijar,
Hi,
yes.
Melissa. Hi, Carolyn.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me, Nelson? How are you doing?
Loud and clear. I can hear you. I just,
Beautiful, beautiful,
it's a
good.
great day to be above ground, and thank you for letting me be a part of your show.
Yes, I appreciate all of you being here today. I mean, it's a Saturday. Melissa is calling in from Turkey. And as you can imagine, it's already like what, 1 a.m.?
Yep, it's 1 a.m. where I am right now.
Oh my God. But she's here. And Nelson is calling in from Canada, right?
Yes,
What is the time there now? I'm curious.
it's I think it's 6:30 here,
Okay,
so I think it's an hour ahead of you.
beautiful. And Carolyn, you're calling in, I believe, is it
I am in Raleigh, North Carolina.
North Carolina? Yes. So you're like an hour ahead, right?
Hour ahead. It's 6 o'clock here, 10 after or something.
Beautiful, guys. I mean, thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of this conversation. Like I said, I had to quickly switch up because Steve-O had to leave, and I really wanted him to be on here, so I decided to go have him go first. But are you guys excited about this conversation? I am.
Yes.
Are
Of
you?
course.
Okay. Okay. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Okay. So first of all, I want to start off by saying like everyone comes into this world with a hand of cards, right? There is no one that like no one knows, the choices that they're gonna make. They don't come in already having everything planned out. They learn as they go, they figure things out, and then they just go as it comes, right? So with that being said, I really want to ask because I'm curious, what is the one big choice that you guys have made in your life, and why did you make that choice, right? And what did it really mean to you? Because I'm a firm believer of the choices that we make, right? And the decisions that we make mean something to us, and that's why we make them, right? So I really want to hear what is the why and what did it mean to you. So I'm gonna go with Melissa because she's the first person that I see going anti-clock.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Okay, wow. Well, that's such a good question. And I think that at some point in my life, like if I were to look back, any choice that I've had to make meant that I've had to learn to let go of something. So I've had like the most difficult choices that I've ever had to make was when I've had to let go of relationships, friendships, when I've had to leave jobs behind, when I've had to leave some kind of like security behind. And that, like at the time, I just remember it being so difficult, just because we form, I think, like some kind of like attachment to these things or to these people. But when it comes to a point when I think it's really unhealthy, then and it no longer serves a purpose in your life, then that's when you have to decide, okay, am I going to choose to be here and remain unhappy? Or am I going to move forward to allow something better to come into my life? So that I think for me was just what probably the biggest, but also the hardest hardest decision or choices that I've ever had to make.
You know, it's funny that you say that because when I was going through your Instagram page and I saw where you said it's okay to leave people behind and find yourself, right? I think that's the
Mhm.
most, I think it hit home for me because, you know, society says or tells you, oh, leave no man behind. And I'm like, well, if you want to grow, you you may have to leave some people behind, you know, to come back to be a better person. Like you might not necessarily carry everybody with you. Carolyn, what do you think about that? Why don't you tell us?
So you want me to tell you about the biggest choice that
Yeah,
I made? Well, so let me give you a little bit of background
yeah.
because um, as a CPA, I worked like 23 years to move up the ranks, right, in the corporate CPA practice world, eventually becoming a partner. And I was like 5 years away from my husband and I, being practically debt free. We had this 5 year plan, but there was a lot of something that really was gnawing at me. And, there was this decision that I really wanted to step up and step out on my own, right? And start my own firm. And I wanted to do it differently than what my partners were doing. So my hardest choice was to say, those 20 some years that I worked to become partner of a firm and all of this status that I had and income and blah, blah, blah. You know what? I have to choose something different. And, in the past, I always listened. I always asked everybody else what they thought. And finally, it took me asking myself, Carolyn, what do you want to do? And I finally made that choice. And now I'm in practice for myself. I'm doing exactly the type of work that I want to do. And I am like the happiest I've ever been. And because of that choice, then it brought me to the next choice, which was life balance and becoming healthy, losing 50 pounds, really being the happiest that I've ever been.
Wow. First off, let me just commend you. I like that picture at your back.
Oh, thanks.
You represent everything about fall. Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you you for reminding us because sometimes we forget. But I love it. I love it. I hear you, girl. I mean, to be honest with you, I think that's the hardest choice in a lot of, especially with people in public accounting, to make that choice to step up, like you said, to start their own practice. Because I think the thing that they are afraid of is that they're afraid, okay, if I walk out of this, am I going to be able to get clients? So am I going to continue to be in business, right? And when you're in public accounting, working all the crazy hours that you're working, you tend to forget your, did I say, your, like, there is no balance. You're just like, oh, I just want to get the job done.
Right.
And I understand that because currently I'm in busy season, so I know what it is that you're talking about. But it's very, very commendable that it's not, I would say it took you 10 years, but you had to think about it. You had to ask yourself, like, what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? You kind of have to plan before just, taking that step or
Right.
that leap of faith. I like to say leap of faith.
Yes.
Leap of
Totally a leap of faith.
right. Oh my God, that's amazing. You go, girl. I mean, Nelson, what do you think? Tell me, what is the one big choice that you made, and why did you make it, and what did it mean to you at the time?
Wow, that's a great question. I'm going to give you a little bit of history.
Yes.
I'm one of these guys that chase the dream. I'm an athletic therapist, personal trainer. I built a private practice working on injury assessment, treatment, and rehab patients. But more importantly, I became like an empowerment and productivity coach for youths and young adults. And I climbed that success and ambitious mountain, got to the top, enjoyed the view. It was great. But as fate would have it, in a blink of an eye, I came crashing down, literally spiraling down, and lost everything in a blink of an eye. And I was just 1 week after celebrating the success, I was diagnosed with cancer, and I was in the hospital, living in the hospital 24/7. And it was such a difficult time. And I wanted to make something out of this dark chapter of my life. And while you're staring at the clock, looking at the ceiling of that hospital room, I had this idea, let's create a blog. And I wrote a blog called The Positive Drip that was outlining my thoughts, my dark feelings, my feelings of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, just so that way I could share it with the world. But more importantly, it was therapy for me. But the joke's on me. People were reading it, and I guess there's a lot of us out there that have felt the same way, that have felt unseen, unheard, scared, isolated, insignificant, and not knowing what to do. So the biggest decision I had to make lately was to go out on a limb, put my words on paper, press that upload button, create a blog for the world to look at, critique, and hopefully share. Yeah, that's out of my comfort zone.
Wow. That's amazing. And you see, you had a different spin to it because yours is, thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Varsi. I appreciate it. Yours it is more like, I climbed the ladder. So I saw it, right? Carolyn and yourself, you guys saw it. You saw it all. Like, you're like, well, I've seen it. But now for you, Nelson, it's like I climbed and I went down right back. So that kind of like threw in that humbling factor of, okay,
Yeah.
Success is great, but at the same time, you never know how life, what life turns on, what should I say, what it is that life is going to throw at you, right? And it's so encouraging that not only did you say, okay, well, I'm in this dark place and I'm just going to stay there, but you started blogging, right? You
Yeah.
started documenting, because I look at a blog or all the words that you use, right? I look at that as a form of documenting your journey or documenting other people's journey that you have the opportunity to share with the world, right? And that is very powerful, right? So I commend you for doing that. I do commend you for doing that. Okay. So that now that we've gotten that out of the way,
Whew.
I want to ask one important question, because I know that choices that we make sometimes, when the whole world is watching, we're like, oh yeah, I'm glad I made that choice. But when we are in our silent place, we're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I should have just waited a little bit more. So have you guys had any regrets whatsoever in your journey, or with the decision that you made? Nelson, go ahead. Tell us.
Well, it's funny how you mentioned that. I was scared to press that upload button.
Mhm.
You go 99% of the way. You write your first piece of work as a blog person, and then you take that deep breath and you go, "No way, man! Do I do it? Do I do it? Do I do it?" And my nephew, who was 9 years old at the time, saw I was having trouble, so he walked up to the laptop and he pressed send.
Just did it.
So it was out of my control, and that's how everything started for me. So as far as regrets, no regrets. I was just scared at first. I'm not gonna lie, because you're bringing people into that vulnerable place of your life. You're sharing your shortcomings. You're sharing moments in time, where you don't look good. And do I regret it now? No, because I realized that I'm I was feeling the way I was feeling, but there were others out there on this planet that felt the same way. So hopefully they could resonate and didn't feel alone. So I must have done something right, and the joke's on me. I'm cancer free. I get to stay, and I still got to keep doing the blog.
Yeah. You still have to keep it consistent. Now you can't stop.
I can't stop.
You cannot stop. You just got to keep stepping up from there.
You got it. I got to keep stepping up.
Amen. Carolyn, what do you think? Did you have regret? When you went into that quiet time, because there is a quiet time. Did you ever say, oh, maybe I should have just waited a little bit to explore all the partner pets before I left? What would you say?
Well, I mean, I was talking to my friend about it when I finally made the decision, and she said, Carolyn, don't you remember us talking about it 10 years ago? You said you wanted to go out on your own and start your own tax and financial planning practice, and that was 10 years ago. So it took me 10 years to actually really decide, because like Melissa, it was the safe zone. It was the safe way to go. It was sure, so it did take me a while. So once I did make the decision, I mean, well, then the next decision is all of the stuff, starting your own business. There's a lot of stuff that you have to do.
Yes.
And like getting out there like this, right? This is scary to me, getting out there and doing Facebook lives and doing quote cards and learning all the technology. So each little stage, you get to the next hard part and you're going, oh, but no, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it for the world. No way. No way.
Beautiful. I love that. I love that. Melissa, how about you?
Oh, I think that at the time, when, like I said, it's when I made the decision at the time to either, I remember, okay, I've left like relationships and I felt like a loss, but that emptiness just lasts like a little while. I've left like, I remember I made decisions to like move abroad, and then I've had to go back to Canada, and I went back to like an old job that I hated. And I remember just like getting up, waking up, like going to work, and just, I wouldn't do this. I don't believe in burning bridges, but if you have to burn a bridge, you have to burn a bridge. I just like got up and left. And everybody thought that I was crazy. But I was just so fed up with the like just the whole corporate thing, the whole call center thing. And at the time, I was like, okay, I was crazy. But it's because it was so outside my comfort zone. And it was just like so crazy and so far off, but it was probably the best decision that I ever made because it led me here.
Right, right. Yeah, we never know where, I guess we never know where some of our choices can take us to. It could take us to a very uncomfortable place. And it could take us to a very safe place again. It doesn't really matter
Mhm.
wherever it takes you is, how the chapter unfolds and what you learn from it when you make those decisions that you make.
Mhm.
So my next question, because I've always struggled with it, a lot of people make their choices, they make their decisions, and they're like, well, I'm going to stand by it because I want, this is going to make me happy. How do you guys know that your decision aligns with your purpose in life, right? Because that's the thing. Like, what if I decide, okay, well, I'm gonna work out today or whatever with whatever I'm doing? How do I know that what it is that I am doing or what it is that I'm about to walk into aligns with my purpose, hence making it effortless? Because again, when you're doing something that you're passionate about and it's your purpose, it becomes more like an effortless hustle, if you want to say. So Nelson, why don't you lead us in the conversation?
Wow, let's say 80% of my time I'll spend making sure that my decisions align with the purpose. And because I'm not perfect, there's 20% of my time where I just want to enjoy time, maybe put that lampshade on my head, be silly for a little bit. But during that 80% of making my mind up, make sure everything lines up, there's a key word to think about, this thing called distractions. A distraction is anything or anyone that takes you off course en route to where you want to get to. And it's up to me to decide whether or not that's a distraction. And if it is a distraction, then it's got to be my choice to say, you know what, I love you, but I got to go. I'll see you later. You can watch that football game, eat those chicken wings, drink that beer, sit on that bar stool. I know you'll be there next month. I love you, but I got to go. And these are times where you just have to avoid the distractions and not let the distraction win. Is it easy? No. But if I feel it's pulling me away from the goal, then I've got to say, you know what, not now. And I'm going to put it on the shelf and I'll see you later.
So if I'm understanding correctly, you're saying once you identify the goal, right? You just face, like, it's almost like you face it, you feed it. It's almost like you feed the focus, right? It's like I can't I can't just keep dilly dallying. I just have to face it and feed it. Is that
Yes,
correct?
yes, yes. And the funny thing is, before I was sick, I never thought like that. After I got sick, was given a second chance at life, I said, you know what? I don't know how much time I have. I'm not going to waste it. And I love that question you sent me because it made me look inward. And then I changed. I became laser because whatever minutes and time I have left on this planet, I want to make sure I do something with it. So, yeah, it's a good question. It made me think and it made me grow as a person. Thank you.
Amen. You're welcome. Carolyn, what about you?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and what I try to practice is something that a coach taught me, and basically, when you have something that you're trying to decide, you want to put your hand on your heart and you want to ask the question, because all of the all of and several coaches will say you have to listen, whether it's to your gut or your heart or some higher power, because the answers to your questions are inside of you. They're not
Say that
somebody.
again. Say that again. Say that again.
The answers to all your questions are inside of you. And so there's a technique where you put your hand on your heart and you're asking your heart, say, heart, should I do XYZ today? And you have to learn to listen to it. And another technique is one of my friends has like a string with a crystal on the bottom. And you test it by saying, is the sky blue? And it will move one way. And then you say, is the sky black, and it'll move the other way. So that's when you know what's yes and what's no. And then so when you have these choices to make, these are some of the techniques that you go through. And another technique is meditation. Just meditating on it and asking yourself and getting really quiet and getting some clarity around the answer. Now, sometimes it might be silent and you might have to wait and ask it again, but those are the kinds of things that I do to make sure that I'm asking myself, because all of the answers are inside of me.
You're so right. I listened to Oprah Winfrey's talk because I just listened to the way she talks. I love the way she speaks and the messages that she passes across to people. And there was one that I stumbled on where she talked about the whisper, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So when you're still, when you sit still, when you're quiet time, the whisper, what is the message? What is the message as of that time that you're hearing, right? And I like to add on to that, but when you hear the message, write it down, right? Like what Nelson is doing, he's blogging, right? You hear the message, you write it down because you don't want to forget it. And the whispers come very silently. They don't come with force. It's not aggressive. It's very soothing and silent.
Mm-hmm.
Just moves swiftly, right? And it's very difficult to thank you, Kelly. It's very difficult to not catch it. So when you said what you said, Carolyn, I think that really stuck out to me because I think the world is so loud now. It's too noisy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like Nelson said, I like to call it distraction attraction, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not careful, you get lost into the distraction when you don't need to. So those meditations, those quieting moments, or those moments when you get quiet, those moments where you put your hand on your heart and it's speaking, those are moments that are beautiful because that is when the message is being passed across. Not in the silent, not in the noisy moment and where the distraction is flying in and out. Probably not going to hear anything anyway. It's too noisy. So I like that. I like what you said about that. Melissa, what about you? How do you know that the choice that you made has aligned with your purpose in life?
Oh, it's been different things over the years, but I think that, like Carolyn said, and like Nelson said, it's always about be still, right? And I think like even in the Bible, I think it's Psalm 46:10. So be still. It like that's found within that little voice. For me, I've learned to identify it as like the voice of God, that little voice within. You need to sort of step away from the distractions and just stay still and just be like, okay, what is it that I need to do in this moment? What is good for me and what is good for my purpose? Because I remember looking back on journals. So I'm a huge fan of journaling. I've used it to deal with like a lot of my anxiety. And there were times when I tried to make a decision about what I should do, and I was just so focused on the other person that I wasn't focused on myself. And I've gone back to those journals and I said, okay, well, why didn't this person, that person was me, like respect herself? Why didn't she listen to that little voice within? And I was so shocked at what I observed about myself. And I said, okay, now anytime you make a decision, anytime that I make a decision, I have to like really learn to listen to that voice. Listen to that voice inside of me because it knows what's right. Like it knows what's right. So that's for me, just like that, be still and just stay silent and focus on what's for you and don't focus on the other person.
Amen. Your journey is your journey, right? Your race is
Mhm.
your race is your race, and it doesn't. I mean, Caroline and I are doing we do accounting, but Caroline's journey is not my journey, right? And
Mhm.
I cannot try to leave Caroline's journey because I'm probably not going to be successful anyway. Because you cannot be trying to leave somebody else's journey. Right. So it's true. Like, and the power comes from within. We cannot be looking we can't be looking for the power in our spouses or our kids or our uncles and aunties and siblings. The power comes from like inside, from
Mhm.
within. We have to find it in us to be able to say, I want to do this. I want to make this leap. I want to take a leap of faith, and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to stand by the consequences because I think a lot of people make choices and they forget the consequences. And when the consequences stares them in the face, they're like, oh my God, I didn't know. And I'm like, well, you made a choice. So just live with the consequences. It's not, and you can run away from the consequences when you make a choice. So that's just how it is. And good or bad, good or bad, there's always good and bad consequences. So So let us, you know what, I really want to put this, hi Natalie, I really want to put this whole conversation that we've just talked about, I want to put it into action. So I want us to have an activity and I want us to be able to discuss it on air so that our listeners and our viewers can, take a thing or two from this conversation and the activity that we're going to play right now. So why don't we go on a break and then come back and talk about this activity? So that's gonna be. Okay, we're back. That was to give everybody time to just wrap their head around their responses. Because we're on air, we're live, guys. We're live. So the way this activity goes, because I know that uh, when we make choices, you know, our behavior is, the way we behave, the way we act, and everything. It's all a part of it, right? It's a wholesome, should I say, event or a wholesome occurrence. So I'm gonna, this activity is gonna be, you're gonna tell me a choice that you would want to make right now, right? Like as we speak, like, because life is full of choice. I mean, we make choices every day. We make what, 35,000 choices according to researchers every single day in our lives. Decisions, 35,000. Okay. So, what is the one choice or decision that you will want to make today, right? And then, how are you going to behave towards making that choice, right? And then you're going to tell me the reason for the behavior, you're going to describe the behavior, and then the consequence of the behavior. So, we're pretty much going to act out a little scene, if that's okay. Okay? All right. So, I think I'm going to start with Nelson first, because now I'm going anti-clockwise. So Nelson, why don't you lead us in this game or activity? What is the one, first of all, let's start. What is the one choice you would want to make right now? At this very minute, this very second. I think you're muted. Unmute yourself. Go ahead.
We're good. If I
Yes.
could snap my fingers right now and rub that genie lamp, I would wish that people would realize that whatever struggles they're going through, they're not going through it alone. And it's okay to seek help because no human being is an island out there. We all need people to surround ourselves with, to encourage us with, to remind us of our brilliance and our purpose, to walk alongside us, help us dust off our defeats, and more importantly, celebrate our victories. And if I could, like I say, snap my fingers, I would want everyone to wake up tomorrow never to feel alone out there on their own, and that they're a part of something. I think it's okay to reach out for help. Because I know a lot of people are proud, a lot of people are private, and they just go through their turmoil and dark days by themselves. And that's a real lonely feeling, and no one should go through it. I know what that feels like, to be in a room all alone, just me and the clock. The clock was my roommate. Terrible feeling.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and tell us how you would want to, what would your, should I say, what would your behavior towards, like, for example, if you meet me and I am going through all that, what would your attitude be? And then tell us, like, describe it, and then tell us the consequences of that behavior.
Well, first of all, what I would do is, if I met you, I'd say, "Hi, Noma, how you doing? How are you?" And then I would shut up. I would listen. I would listen to you. We got 2 ears, 1 mouth for a reason. And I like to use it that way. "Hi, Noma, how are you? What's up?" Listen to you, hear what's happening, be there for you, cheer you on, give you my time, give you my empathy, and make you feel that, hey, you may feel alone, but there's some guy in Canada. He may be in a wheelchair, but he's walking alongside you and cheering you on.
Ooh, I love it. So what is the consequence of that behavior? Because now, see, if you're telling me that you're going to listen to everything, you know that if I'm down, I'm probably going to call you.
Yeah. The consequence is you have to maintain your integrity with that.
Right.
And that's not easy with people, because everybody's busy being busy. And that promise is a promise. And most promises are hard to keep. But I'll reach my hand out to you, and I promise you, it won't be me the one that lets go.
Wow. So that's very important, I think. So if I'm understanding correctly, you would listen to what it is that I'm going through. You would provide support, and the reason for that behavior is because you've been there.
Yeah.
Right. And you would provide support, whatever support that I need, you would provide that. And then the consequences is that you would make sure that you stand firm in, I guess, from an integrity perspective, right? I like that. Now,
I gotta step up, right?
Right, but the support that you're providing,
stepping up. Yeah.
The support that you're providing. Now, a lot of people don't know how to balance that line. You know what I'm saying? Like, they want to keep asking and asking and asking and asking and asking. So how would you be able to mitigate that or manage?
You know what? That's easy. This is exactly what I do. How are you today? What's happening? What's the one thing that's got you down? What is it? Just that. Let's talk about that one thing today. We don't need to figure out a solution, but let's talk about it. And I want you to know that someone's listening to you.
Okay. All right. I love it. Quick, snappy. Moving on. Okay, Carolyn, what about you? You're muted.
Okay. All right. So the one decision that I would make is the one that kind of makes me the most scared. And that is to really show up on my YouTube channel and just, get rid of the A+ perfectionism. You have to be perfect. You started this whole thing, you just go out there, and to me, it's like, oh, it just seems so easy to her. And I'm like going, I just really need to make that decision and just forget about it. And just get out there, because there are people who need me. And if I don't go out there, and if I hide, or if I, don't show up, they're not gonna be helped, because, I'm hiding, or I'm trying to be perfect, before I get on camera. And that's the decision I would make. And it's really a hard one.
I hear you, girl. I hear you. So explain to me, what are the consequences of now being vulnerable, right? Because you're gonna go in front of people, you're gonna stutter,
Yeah.
you're probably going to forget what it is that you're saying, as I have been forgetting when I'm trying to catch myself, right? So explain to me what those consequences would be, and how would you be able to get around that, like working with it.
Right. So the consequences are, you're going to be judged, right? There are going to be people out there that say, oh, she said this and that wasn't factually right. In the accounting and tax and financial planning world, there's things that are right and there's things that are wrong. And so you're going to get judged. A good consequence is, you're going to get people that say, hey, I think she's the right person for me, right? So there's going to be two sides of the coin. There's going to be people that judge you and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I would, but then on the other side of the coin, there's going to be people that say, gosh, she's a smart person, and I think she really can help me. I'm going to reach out, or, I'm going to listen, or I'm going to subscribe, and then, those are your people, right? So the consequences of not doing it are like what I said, the people that you really need to help are not going to get helped because you're not out there.
Yeah.
Being authentic and being yourself and screwing up and, being imperfect. So.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Melissa, how about you? Give me, okay.
Okay. So I don't know. I was listening to Carolyn and I'm hearing her speak and I'm just watching everybody throughout this interview. And she talks about like being nervous for showing up for lives, but I think you're doing an amazing job. Like you're incredible at what you do. Like really, you are incredible. But yeah, I don't know. Back to your question, if I had to like make like one choice like today, it would be to trust the process more and not to like want like to let go of this need or this want of trying to control the outcome, because that is exhausting. It
Ooh,
is so exhausting to control the how, to control the process. And then, because I've learned, like, as I've gotten older, I've learned to do this like less and less. Everything turns out to be okay. And anything that I was worried about like 5 or 10 years ago, I can't even like remember what I was worried about. So I would just like learn to trust the process more, or choose to trust the process more, let go of the how, let go of the outcome, and just learn to be present in the moments, because there's so much to learn in the present moments.
yes. Yes. So what are the consequences? So now you're saying, I want to drop the control and I want to just
Mm-hmm.
let the process be the process, right? What are the
Mm-hmm.
consequences of that?
What are the consequences if I were to just let go of the control?
Process,
Like,
let the process be the process.
well, I would like, I would learn to be present, and I would be very focused on the present moment, because oftentimes when something is happening, not to us, but for us, we kind of like forget that little lesson that's happening in between. And because we're just so focused on where we need to be, we're so focused on the past. Like I would just be able to take in the lesson more. I think I would also let go of a lot of the anxiety, a lot of the stress, because it's just pointless to hold on to the stress. It's pointless to hold on to the anxiety, and I would I would be at peace. Like I would just be at peace. And that is the best thing in the world, to just be at peace and just be like, okay, I got this. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just going to trust the process, because being stressed and worried, I'll do what I can, but you know what? I'm just going to ride this out.
Guys, I love each and everything that each and every one said. So, as you know, I'm following each and every one of you. So, like you just talked about, this whole thing, this whole activity, Carolyn, I want to see you doing more live video because you're doing awesome on set. I don't think I have a. Your background is beautiful. I mean, hey, you brought your whole A game, and sometimes you're not gonna bring your A game, and that's okay. Like again, I was listening to Oprah, and she said, "There is no mistake that I'm gonna make that somebody else hasn't made. There's no mistake that you're gonna make on the live TV or on air that nobody has made. So guess what? I'm gonna do my thing, and I'm gonna perform it, and I'm gonna learn from it, and I'm gonna keep stepping out. Right?
Yeah. Right.
Amen." Nelson, on the other hand, I hear you about your blog. So like you have to find ways now to like reach out to people and keep helping them and keep listening, right? Because I think a lot of us are so quick to give a response. We're not quick to listen. We're not quick to hear it the way other people hear it. And to be understood, you have to understand, right? And to understand, you have to listen. And as I'm talking to you guys, I am no professional. I'm working on me too. But by doing this and giving everyone, people the voice to speak up, that is also helping me too on my own journey to learn how to stoop low to conquer, learn how to humble myself, and when we come on air like this, give each other tips on what it is that we need to do and how it is that we want to continue. So that is it. That is it for you. So again, like I said, I'm following each and every one of you. I'm gonna be looking to be sure that you're actually like following up and keeping true to this activity, because again, that's the only way we can grow, right? In our journey, in our, in steps that we're making and everything, right? So I'm looking forward to that, Nelson.
All right.
Okay. Melissa, trust in the process. Trust me, that is my weakness too. I don't know how to trust the process. I want to be in control. I want it now. If it doesn't happen now, then it's like the world is coming to an end. So I understand what you said when you said, I just want to be able to be at peace. You want to go to bed at night and not think about 20 million things. You want to be able to say, I have done the best and I have given this best. And I'm going to leave it pan out or play out the way it's going to play out. And again, I'm going to stand by the consequences, wherever that is. I'm going to just let it be. I think human beings, and I don't think that is a struggle that is just unique to you, because I think human beings always want to be in control.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, the most satisfying feeling is that I don't get to see everybody. It's so exciting. I like to hear it. It's actually very, people say unfortunately, but I like to say fortunately. I don't get to see them. So that makes me happy, because I don't have too many. So I will be me, and I will be authentic, and I will just be who I am. And like Carolyn said, whoever is going to listen and is going to watch and is going to want to subscribe and share, like Nelson said, will do. But you just go ahead and, trust the process and, do what it is that you want to do. So see how this activity was very cool.
Yeah.
All right. So guys, with that being said, I want each and every one of you to give me your final thought. I want to know what it is that you want to like do as you begin to make changes, as you begin to, look at the choices, focus, delve deeper. What is it that you want society to do? Melissa, why don't you go?
Okay. Sorry, you cut it. So the question was, what is it that I want to do?
how can society support you in this process of trusting the process?
Oh, um, I mean, you know what? I don't think how can society support me? You know what? I don't really expect anything from society. Um, I mean, I expect to meet people along the way who I'll have like maybe an incredible conversation with. They could inspire me like through their stories on how they've learned to trust the process. Um, yeah, but like I don't know, I've chosen or I maybe like where I am in my life right now, it's just like, you know what, people could inspire me through their stories. Um, but I don't really have any expectations from society. Yeah, it's just like, you know what, we're on our journey, and if I meet you along the journey, like I hope that you could like inspire me, tell me your story, and that's gonna give me um like I guess like hope that so many things are possible, I think.
Mm, mm.
Yeah, I think that's like the best way that I can explain it.
I love it, girl. I love it. I just actually posted up a quote on my Instagram that said, "Not everything is useful, but not everything is trash." Right? So
Mhm.
you take it as you need it, right? You take it as you need. You don't have to take everything at once, but you take it as you need. And sometimes what people are trying to offer you, you don't need it, and that's okay.
I That's okay.
You don't need, yeah, and that's okay. So I hear you, girl, when you say you don't expect anything from society, and I think that is actually very good because you're like, I don't have any expectation for society. If I get it, beautiful. If I don't, life moves
It's
on, and
okay.
you trust in the process, right?
Amen. Yep.
Okay, Carolyn, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of definitely agree with Melissa that, I don't expect anything from society, but I think I would add that, um, just like, in the Bible, you treat others, right? You treat others how you want to be treated.
Mhm.
So if I want to be respected, if I want to be listened to, then it's up to me to listen to others and respect others and treat others how I want to be treated. And I believe that if you do that, then society will give you back what you give. That's kind of how I think about it. Treat your neighbor like you want to be treated.
I
Kind of,
love it.
yeah,
And that even goes back to the integrity portion that Nelson, right? Wanna, I mean, you want to be great. You wanna also have that integrity. So I hear you. Treat others as you, because again, at the end of the day, each and every one of us have something it is that we want to offer. So if you don't really treat others the way you want to be treated, then it's kind of like that situation where you're like, it's like what you give, you get, right?
right.
You get.
Hmm.
You give grace, you give you give love, you
Right.
will get grace, you
Mhm.
will get love, and it might not be from the same people, it might be different. At the time. I hear you, girl. Nelson, what about you?
Well, just like yourself, I'll be doing web or conference calls and listening to people. And the common theme I hear is I hear a lot of them say, I didn't expect that I'd end up here. I expected more from myself. I didn't think I'd end up where I am. Well, if you didn't know where you're going, how do you know if you ever get there? But the one thing that I did realize is that some people were just dissatisfied of where they were in their current moment in time in their life. And I share with them, well, since I was almost on the way out, that refuse to believe the lie that we all have time,
Hmm.
and refuse to believe that we have an unlimited amount of I can do it later opportunities and a whole bunch of some days, and believe the fact that we're not nobody is guaranteed a tomorrow. And if you can believe that and start living like that, hopefully you can get rid of those distractions that life throws in front of your way, and you can chase down as many of your personal earthly check marks before you do pass away. So when you do go, you can die empty with no unfinished business taken with you to the grave. And I just tell people, live with urgency. And what I do is, it sounds silly, I have this little hourglass here, little sands of
Ooh,
the hourglass, which I keep with me everywhere I go to remind me that time is ticking and just a matter of time till I get to that last second. And I want to make sure when my time is done, I did what I'm supposed to do on this planet before I get to that next place.
Mm.
whew, you die empty. Whew, whew. Yes, you take nothing to the grave.
Nothing.
You go empty. You have emptied out everything on earth. You have used all the talent, the purpose, the drive, everything that God has given you, and you have done right, and you have put it out there. That is spot on. Stephen even said it. He said, "You hit the nail on the head, Nelson. I didn't expect my life to happen the way it did. I expected more of myself." That is great. And guys, oh my God, I can't even believe the conversation is coming because I could talk with you guys for forever. But everything that has a beginning has an end. Guys, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for bringing your authentic self to these productions, to on air, because I know how it is to open up yourself and be vulnerable, right? I think that's what a lot of people run away. But I'm glad that you guys came in prepared, ready, and you were ready to share a part of yourself that I don't know if people know about or if no one knows. And I thank you for doing that. I want to thank my sister Skip and Nadia for putting all this whole behind the scenes production together, in and out, the solo view and the joint view. God, I mean, he did it all. Did it all. We had the expertise. Carolyn, Melissa, Nelson, they dropped some gems. Guys, it is up to you to make your decision. Whatever decision you make, own it because there are consequences for it, right? Own it. And be sure that you're living in your purpose, whatever that purpose is to you. And also take the time to just sit still and hear the whispers. What is the message that you're being told every single day? I come to you as a work in progress because I am by no means, shape, or form a perfect individual. And I am also learning as Melissa, Caroline, and Nelson are learning. So, guys, I want to thank each and every one of you because I know that you could be using your Saturday for something else, but you came in to listen. I want to thank Melissa Marceau because I know it's already almost 2 a.m. there where she's at. I want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of this conversation. And I want to encourage each and every one of you to stay blessed and be able to look back and pull someone as you climb the ladder, whatever the ladder is. So with that being said, guys, have a wonderful day and stay blessed. Bye.